Hello and welcome to today's video. This video is for small business owners, medium enterprises, managers, recruiters, anybody and everybody who's involved in the hiring process for new candidates. Because we all make mistakes and we will discuss 5 common hiring mistakes that most businesses make when hiring new candidates. So if you look back over the past 12 to 24 months, how would you rate the efficiency, the quality of your hiring process, say on a scale of 1 to 10? If you think there is scope for improvement, this video is for you. Let's discuss the 5 common hiring mistakes we end up making. So let's get started. Number 1, making hiring decisions based on gut feel or first impressions. We all would have come across candidates who walk into the interview room and then we just feel, wow, I mean, this is the candidate that we were looking for. They are well-groomed, presentable, confident, and we certainly have a liking to hire the person. It's good. We need that kind of people to work for the company. But at times we get influenced by the first impression. And once that happens, we lose the objectivity during the interview process. Don't let that happen. It's important to like the person that comes for the interview, but the moment it becomes a bias and it becomes favorable enough that we take decisions to hire the candidates, ignoring the other checkpoints we may have in the hiring process, then we are making a mistake on not being objective enough in hiring a new person. Second, we are being unfair to the other candidates who may not be as impressive during the first impression, but maybe better qualified. So don't make the mistake of hiring candidates based on gut feelings or first impressions. Follow your interview process till the end. Give every candidate an equal opportunity, be objective, and then take the decision. Moving on to number 2 is not being clear about skills and qualifications required for the job role. Now, I'll tell you what exactly happens, especially with smaller businesses. They do not have a dedicated recruitment team or recruitment manager or an HR head who could guide them through. So when they have to hire for a new role, they easily go on the internet. They would type for, let's say if they have to hire a digital marketing specialist, they would go on and go to Google and type digital marketing specialist job description. There would be hundreds and thousands of search results, and they would download a few, maybe mix and match, add a few lines, and they would have a job description ready, which they would send to the recruiter or the hiring agency. No, that's not how it works, because the job role is common across organizations, across industries even. But the exact job requirements, the objectives, the tasks that are to be done in your company would always have some uniqueness to it. So it's important that you actually take the time, talk to the respective reporting manager, and jot down what is that you expect each person to be doing each day, each week, and then map those activities with the skill requirements. Be very sure about the skills that you need. Let's say, for example, if you have to hire a CRM manager because you plan to start implementing Salesforce. Now, if you have a team of say 20, 25 people and you want to be using the Salesforce CRM for your business, and if you're hiring a CRM manager, you do not have the time for the person to come and learn how to use Salesforce. So you would actually need to hire someone who's had some experience using, and even better, implementing Salesforce CRM in an organization. That becomes an important skill. So somebody who's not worked with CRMs at all is a clear no-no for this position. And if there is somebody who's maybe has an experience with, say, a HubSpot CRM or Pipedrive or Zoho, but if you get a candidate who has specific experience implementing Salesforce CRM, then that's the candidate that you would like to hire. So be very particular about the skills and qualifications that you need for each job role. Hence, you need to create that yourself. Yes, take help and inspiration from information available from the internet, from your friends and peers, but ensure that you make the list yourself in discussion with your team and the reporting manager. Let's move on to number 3, which is a very common one, focusing too much on personality over skills. Now, this is important because when you go on the internet, there's a lot of noise on that hire for attitude, not for skill. But let me tell you, small and medium businesses are not academies. If we are hiring somebody for a particular role, we need them to have certain skill proficiencies. Yeah, maybe not advanced, but intermediate and beginner, depending upon the role and seniority level for which we are interviewing them. So don't ignore skills over personality. Personality is important, but it's also trainable. You can train somebody who is pessimistic to be optimistic. So don't fall into the trap that personality or attitude cannot be improved. Just like skills, even attitude, personality, and culture fit can be trained, and the employee can be made to be a fit. Don't ignore skills. If a person is not skilled, you don't have the time to hire and train. You don't have the resources like an MNC or a big organization. It's okay if you're hiring for freshers, someone with no experience. Yes, their attitude, personality, culture fit become the most important. But if you're hiring somebody where you need somebody to at least have a year, 2 years, 3 years or more experience, then you need to give equal and I'd say more importance to skills. I'm okay to have a boring accountant to say, but the accountant needs to be really skilled at what he or she does. So I would not put more impetus on personality. That's important. Culture fit is important, but don't focus too much on personality over skills. Moving on to number 4 is not taking the time to properly vet candidates. This is important. A lot of people will say that trust what's there in the resume, trust what the employee says, he or she may be right, but it's not about doubting the person. It's just about verifying the information. Integrity is an important integrity is an important element that you need to look for. And the best way to verify is to vet the candidate, do a reference check. If you can't do it yourself, there are numerous agencies that would do that for you for a small fee. So don't ignore that. Make a couple of phone calls, do a thorough reference check, vet the candidate's credentials before you decide to roll out the offer letter. Let's move on to the last one. The number 5 is not having a structured interview process. This may happen when you don't hire too frequently. You may not be a big organization that hire people every week, every month, some even hire every day. You may be hiring maybe 2, 3, 4 in a year or even less, because you only hire when suddenly a new position comes up or an existing employee decides to move on. So your hiring frequency is less, but still you need to have a thorough, documented interview process, right from creating a job description to the different channels that you would be using to scout for candidates, the agencies that you would work for, the different process, the different stages of the interview process. For example, you may first have a written assessment, a functional test. That's very important. I always recommend people to have a functional test done before you interview someone. This saves the time for both you and the candidate. You get to know whether the candidate has the prerequisite, basic or intermediate skills required for what you are looking for. And the candidate gets a first-hand experience of what he or she is expected to do when they join your organization. So I'll be coming back with a separate video on how to plan and conduct functional testing for different job roles. And I'll do it within the next 10 days itself. So come back and watch that video if you're hiring for certain job roles, how to plan and conduct that functional test and get a clear understanding of the skill match of the employee that you're going to interview. And then follows the interview process where you could have 1 or 2 rounds, an HR round, a management round, and then the background check or the verification process. So have a clear interview process, follow it till the end. Even if the first candidate that you meet, if you like the person, still I would say go ahead and meet a few more. Hiring is more like sales. you need to evaluate more candidates. A lot of people would say, okay, that you've met one candidate, you've liked her, hire her. But I would say to maintain objectivity, maintain a good ratio, maybe 1:3 or 1:5. So for every one job role, ensure that you meet at least 3 or 5 qualified candidates and then make the best choice. Because even if the selected candidate opts to back out before joining, you still have a backup to go after. You don't have to reinitiate the entire process. So these are the 5 common hiring mistakes I've seen companies make, especially the smaller and medium businesses, because they don't hire too often. They don't have a very structured process, and a lot of them don't even have a dedicated recruitment or HR team. Hence, these mistakes are bound to happen. But that's the reason I've made this video. Make a list, follow these 5 processes, steps, and avoid these mistakes. Quick recap. Number 1, don't make hiring decisions solely based on gut feels or impressions. Second, always be clear about the skill requirements for the job. Don't focus too much on personality over skills. Always take the time to vet and do a reference check for the candidate. And number 5, have a structured interview process and follow it till the end. So thank you for making it to the end of this video. We'll be making more videos on hiring tips for small business owners and hiring managers. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Come back. You have any questions, any queries, any feedback that you would like to ask me or share with me, write in the comment section. Or I will also leave the links to my website, my LinkedIn profile, my Twitter profile in the video description. So come there, hit me up, send me a message. I'd love to have a conversation with you. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Be safe.